Hello, everybody, and welcome to Let's Remember Skies of Arcadia. We have just made it through the Dark Rift, and we are on the other side, heading towards Yafutoma. There are probably a lot of discoveries in the area that I could grab, but I don't remember them that well. I know that there is a boss fight coming up. In fact, it's a boss fight I remember quite distinctly because, no, not items. So you come out of here and you're like, okay, I'm going to head into this new space, but then, like, they blindside you with another boss fight, which is a total bummer. While we're here, we will give the heavy torpedo to the Delphinus, though. And let's just sort of think, are there many discoveries right near us? I don't know. Maybe? I know a lot of them move around here. There's like an island, too. There's like, what's like Spice Island, and there's like a White Rift, or White Stone Rift, or something. I don't know. Is it around me near? I'll find it some other time. I'm not boring you with that. Let's look at the freaking map, though. Yafutoma is in this direction, so I need to turn here. Random battles, whatever. So, I am rested and rejuvenated, and excited to head into a new space. I am certainly in no condition to speak in any way, shape, or form about the representation of Japanese space here, because, hey, it's being done by Japanese developers, but it is also going to be a very broad sort of space. And it works out fairly well. So we want to head north. Can I go through this rift? Yep, we can pop right through it. Awesome. So we can see the blue moon rising. But yeah, there are bad guys that attack us. This is where we fight Jiao and Mao, I think. I think that's their names. Jiao and Mao? Mao and Zhao? I don't know. They're twins, and they try and beat the crap out of us because they are sort of like air pirates of their own. We sort of enter into a it's kind of interesting. We enter into this space, and we're sort of attacked by pirates, and we'll see how this is a strange paced sort of section of the game, because we will head into another dungeon fairly quickly. Having trouble with my words again, and it's a dungeon where a lot of stuff happens, and like right after it, like even more stuff happens. So it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, we've done this, we need to stop. So I might even, like, I don't know. I'll have to consider how I want to approach things near the end of this. But I mean, in general, we should be okay. But this is another longer stretch, sort of comparable to Ixotaka. We have a lot of engagement with the characters that we're going to meet here. There's a lot more politics happening in this section of the game too, which is interesting to me. So we just kind of go through it and see what's going on. But I lost my point about the pair that we are going to run into up ahead. It's very interesting to me that we enter into space and we're like, okay, we're on our ship, we're fine, and then we get close to where we need to go, and then like we get attacked by pirates. It's a nice way to take the pirate dynamic and remind us that it's still a thing, because we haven't really had to deal with pirate attacks since Baltor. So here's our encounter. So we are right near the gates of Yafutoma. But we have a ship, or a pair of ships, sneaking in on us. Or quite a few of them, actually. These are pirates. You think for a moment that they might be, say, the Yafutoma Navy, but I'm fairly sure that they are pirates. So we have a battle ahead of us. We have to take care of this ship, and then we need to take care of the pirates on the ship. Good stuff. The Tenko. Tenkao? I'm gonna say Tenko. Like, Ko Uraki. Okay, so we want to set ourselves up for a decent turn. It's not much, but we will heal a little bit at the beginning. See, because this is the problem. You come out of the rift, and you come out into all of this craziness. And we just sort of have to deal with it. And I hope I don't die? Much like anyone would hope that they don't die. But it's just like, I hope my ship is in a decent enough space to be okay. I don't have a lot of repair kits. I'm relying on magic. They're hitting fairly hard. I might need to use Pinto one round just to sort of get some of my healing back, but it's like I'm hitting decently with my ship stuff. But after this, I'm still going to have to fight a boss fight. So we might even do this airship fight, the boss fight, everything inside Yafutoma, and then we'll cut off this section early when we head into the next dungeon, I think is what might happen. The designs of the ships and everything here is very, very nice. They do a really good job in this game of differentiating everything as well. It ends up working very nicely, I think. So this is going to seem funny. Pinta takes up the whole 10. That's gross. That is gross. Torpedoes are important, so we will have those be a thing. We will have Fina use... No, we'll use double Sacris. Haha. There we go. Not bad. So it's like a challenge is being presented, but we need to just sort of shift and deal with it. As I've said before, once this game gets into stretches where it like starts really opening up, which for me I would say is post Decat's Island onwards, it just throws a lot of stuff at you. In a way that isn't trivial either. It's not just waves and waves of enemies for you to just like fight for the sake of it. It's like these are actual like getting through the rift. If you remember my craziness, like that navigationally, that's a hazard, and then sort of having to deal with everything that's happening with that stupid monster at the end was a pain. And before that we had all of the stuff with Gregorio, and it's just this series of things. And in particular, it's a series with a lot of airship stuff, which is, I like, personally, but it does sort of send you on a stretch for a little bit where you're just like, oh, damn. And we just want to attack as much as we can for now, get in a little bit of healing, and go from there. I will have more to say, definitely, when we are in the actual lands of Yafutoma themselves. The big thing here about this battle that we don't... I mean, the game talked about it briefly, is that Yafutoma ships can go higher altitude-wise than Western ships. which means that they can possibly avoid our cannons. They didn't in that case, but there are cases where they will ascend really high up, and we will have sort of difficulty attacking them because of that sort of height advantage that they can get. They can head above the cloud layer, and it's sort of different technology in a space. So they have their own technology as a developed space that the West doesn't have, which is sort of nice. So let us choose out our options here. Shredder Bomb, yes. Sakura's, yes. Torpedo, yes. Me saying things over and over, yes. Alright, that's a strong turn, because we'll heal at the end of the turn to sort of bounce back from any damage. We don't need to use any extra power to use the weapon, because it's an item. So I feel pretty comfortable here. No Moonstone Cannon shenanigans here, just a straight up sort of broadside-based battle, which was unintentionally alliterative. So let us go. I feel at times I risk, as always, running out of things to say, but it's mostly that, like, once again, I'm sort of being buffered away from, like, all of the stuff that might give me things to talk about. Like, obviously we have these ships. Yafutoma is this really interesting mix of both Japanese and Chinese design. It has more China to it than it does Japan, but the allegory that I've kept on bringing up, that is sort of being presented, is makes me think, at least, of the whole sort of connection of East and West that happened. I'm just having trouble talking during the 1800s. When trade and everything was opened up, heading into the I don't remember what period of history that was in the in Japanese history right now. Was that Tokugawa, maybe? I don't know. I don't know Japanese history as well as I should. I think it... I'm going to sound like a fool. I'm going to say, yeah, it was the Tokugawa shogunate. But it's probably not. Because let me try and remember my history here. Because that's the last... Because Tokugawa's the last, like, feudal government, right? So... So it's like, that's the Edo period. So yeah, okay, no, I'm right. I'm right. So the thing that's happening here is that this is sort of like an Edo period type thing, a little bit. Just a tad. I had so much trouble sort of figuring that out, and then I remembered the capital was Edo, which helped. Because that's a... Meiji stuff too, so remembering some of that a little bit at least, which is good. It's weird, it threw me off because Tokugawa Ieyasu lived in the 1600s. So when I said Tokugawa, I was like, I don't think that's right. But I just had to remember that was like the last... Yeah, whatever. historians. I'm not a historian. I'm a literature person. And my literature is decidedly focused on European sort of realms of interest. How do we do that round? I got all obsessed with trying to remember stuff about... Oh, they're healing! Oh. I am not so happy about that. So... we need to make sure they don't do that stupid shit. Oh, God. I wanted enough to be able to hit them hard, so instead I guess we can substitute the sub-cannons for Increm, which means that when our attacks do hit, they will be buffed. Moment-to-moment tactical decisions, ladies and gentlemen. They still happen in this game. You sit back and you go, okay, this isn't working. Okay, this is what I thought I would do. Can't do it. Let me find a suitable replacement. One to which I am, amenable. It's just that ship battles take up a lot of time. We're probably, 15 minutes in or so? There we go. And we still have a boss battle to fight. So. And also, it's a boss... Like, the game doesn't give you, a warning of, You're just sort of, Imagine... you just don't know what's coming. You really don't. And you think you're done. You're like, okay, beat the ships. No, there's... I'm, 90% certain there's a boss fight. These fellas come in. The Yin Yang. Tenko flagship. So yeah, definitely more Chinese, but still... look at that Delphinus flag in the background. But definitely that feeling of First Contact is evocative of Edo, Japan. Oh, so it does give me a chance to do this. But are there... Can I just save on the deck? There's no save point, right? I just heal up and make sure I'm ready. Which we can do. What's an Eichel seed? Will? Yes, please, Fina. And then... Magic Do. Awesome. And now we have to have her heal everyone, or at least one time with Sacrum. What am I doing? I've noticed a running thread of me getting easily distracted by things. Hey, Fina. I really should sit down and figure out some sort of exegesis on why I think Fina is my favorite character. I mentioned that in one of the last 2 episodes or something, and I do mean it. I think she is a phenomenal character. She is possessed of a grace under pressure that I wish I had. And a sort of innocence that I think I certainly have lost. Where could they be? Posing dramatically, perhaps? Westerners, we've been waiting for you. These guys are pretty cool, though. Zhao and Mao, yeah. It is our mission to collect 1,000 swords. So you must pick one of 2 choices. Yeah. Oh, we surrender. No, I'm gonna fight your ass. Alright, cool. And I'm gonna guess that their affinity better be blue, which means I'll just slot everyone for red. Let's check. Yeah, blue, so... wrong button. Back to red with your eyes. And we'll focus on Zhao. because blue will do reduced damage against red as well. No, blue does good damage against red, so how do we... Alright, so how do I want to play this? Do I want to take reduced damage? Okay, yeah, so reduced damage, and then, so I'll just do... Does anything else do damage against blue, but doesn't have a disadvantage against it? Yellow. Yellow does. So if we attune everyone for yellow, we're fine. Haha, it took me a minute. It's always thinking about those elements and stuff. Pupil's ugly in any color other than the soft green or the silver, though. And we can use Justice Shield while building up to things.
May righteousness be our shield. Shield of justice.
Because yellow does well against green, blue, and silver. Meanwhile, blue does less damage against yellow. Nice! Critical hit from Fina. Nice attack! That's actually pretty good. It's tempting to build up straight and use Prophecy and, like, one-shot them, but no, we'll just focus on this fella here. We'll get a Pirate's Wrath off, everything will be good. Because red does do extra damage against blue, but blue will do more damage against red. They sort of hit each other both very hard. But we'll focus. And see, this is why I like Enrique. Just Justice Shield is such a great skill. The alternate one that we can use is... we can use... Skull Shield, but I don't know if it will counter some of these things. And still they hit fairly hard, even taking into account the sort of defensive magics that we're putting up. But we want to focus, we want to get off Pirate's Wrath, because that will most assuredly take care of the current twin that we are attacking. Who are we attacking right now anyway? We are attacking Zhao. And we can just have everybody sort of follow up, because we don't have enough MP to do Justice Shield again. That's why I said Enrique isn't necessarily a character that's all about attack. I'm basically running with one main striker and 3 utility characters, although one of them tends to be more of a healer. And because most people have the magic that I want them to have now, I don't care, like, I can just slot for elemental advantages, which I enjoy. Vise has everything he needs. I think he knows Incremus, which is fine. I would like maybe Fina to learn Incremus, but I won't lose sleep over her not having it. In fact, let's just check her red magic. So she would learn... So actually, what's Vise's current thing? Yeah, so she would learn Pyrolen before she would learn Incremus. So, I mean, I could slot her for red at some point or another, but I don't know if it's worth it. Because you don't need to buff the whole party. I mean, you can, but you don't really need to. You know what I mean? That's just how it is.
May righteousness be our shield.
Shield of Justice. What is it? It's a shield of justice. Therefore, it is called Justice Shield. I wonder how the localization got that name and like what that name means. If anybody has any idea out of the 8 people who might be watching this, let me know. I'd be curious to find out. Yeah, man. In theory, Cutlass Fury and then Royal Strike? Yeah. We'll just have everybody attack and then Royal Blade, excuse me.
Here goes.
Counter. I don't know if it'll match the same damage output, though. Probably, like, there's no way, but whatever. Let's give these battles a little bit more variety. It is indeed the spice of life. And that counter certainly helps, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Pupil. Oof. I need to get her an accessory still.
Face my blade.
Hey, so that did finish it off. Good. Not bad. And so we will head into Yafutoma now. And we get a moonberry, which means, man, I just need, I think, one more? Westerners, you are stronger than we thought. They jump onto their ship. There's some cool characters in this section. They are cool. The Tenko, the pirates, sort of wandering martial bandits. So yeah, blue moonstones allow their ships to reach incredibly high altitudes, which is really cool. And will be, as you imagine, useful to us if we can... oh, I'm near discovery. This is the Spice Island that I was talking about. Holy crap. Wow. Oh, that's for, okay, so that is... We are going to have to do... Or maybe I'll do it off camera, the Cabal Skewer quest. So this is our Great Wall. Right? So like I say, visually China, but sort of otherwise, scenario-wise, a little bit more Tokugawa, or like Edo. So it says first discovered by Vise the Blue Rogue, which is absolutely true. Made it through the Dark Rift. So now we are really doing crazy historic stuff, which I like. It just keeps escalating. First it's like feats of daring, and now it's like feats of like historical significance. And after this section, like we're going to make another really historical discovery for Arcadia. And I love that they include it in the game. But I won't talk about it until it happens. And it's such a simple thing. But it does remind you, like, oh, this is the age of exploration. Of course that would be a thing that would need to be discovered. It's phenomenal. By the end of the game, you will have done so many wondrous, amazing things. Magic? Question mark? Next turn, I could probably finish them off with Rain of Swords. See, I don't mind getting sneak attacks on me because, like, okay, maybe I lose a little bit of time from being attacked, but then it's like, what the hell ever. I can just take out the enemy? Like, it's basically just like a time investiture, which just means I start with more spirit points at the start of the round, which I am totally willing to accept.
One.
All right, so let's get there, and we'll sort of talk about what's happening in Yafutoma. Where are you? There we go. It's actually not quite where you would think it might be. Oh, random encounters. Take me away. That was a Calgon reference, but not really. Calgon, take me away. sneak attack, I think we can run.
Retreat!
And I'm more than willing to do that instead of fighting and wasting time. I want us to get to the next plot beat. Because I think this is all really interesting stuff. And of course, remember, there's what the shit? There's no different languages in Arcadia is what I was trying to think off the top of my head. Invaders, why have you come? Protected by Mount Kazai in the Blue Moon, under the sovereign reign of Lord Mikado, invaders will be punished. I like that. The guy's like, you've invaded, and they're like, hey, we made it.
Yeah!
It's all interesting stuff. Because we have reached a space sort of ahead of Valua. So we get to sort of establish a rhythm. You know? Princess Moegi? Moegi? I'm not good with words. Kangan.
King Mikado, as an advisor of the royal court, I must say I am opposed to the idea of foreigners in our lands.
This man is obviously trustworthy. Right? Totally. He's not got sinister eyebrows or anything. You know? So let's say this then. I'm not giving much away to say that when I was talking about our exceptions to the rule of power being inherently corruptive, Mikado and Moegi were the substitutes to the rule that I was thinking of, with one more other character in this space. This is a place where there is going to be some internal intrigue. Sort of gave that away with the court advisor that's sort of evil. You know, but we have a sovereign that's cool, a princess who's awesome, and then another character that's great, and you know, I like that there still are people in this world that have power and are good. Because the Naz Sultan is prideful. Theodora is greedy and expansionist, but Mikado's like, hey, listen, this is where you can find the Moonstone. If you can find this for us, this other thing for us, we'll be very grateful. Right? It's like this is like healthy contact, which I enjoy. And now we get to just sort of explore the space, which I like. The blue moonstones are used for flame. Moonstones just sort of being these magical things that can do whatever you need them to do. But I mean, in this land, it's like, I like the visual of being up above the clouds and then going down below the clouds. And I mean, like, really, like, this is like, you know, high up is where the palace is. It's like, it's really cool. We got this little buddy here, Kokeka, cluck, cluck, cluck. It's kind of cute. Kind of cute, kind of cute. Nice. So we'll want to explore the space. Near the waterfall is a cham. Hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. Where's the waterfall? Where's my cham at? Where's my cham? I need it. I don't need it. I particularly want it. But there are multiple waterfalls. I just remember one being near a waterfall. So it's like, where... This is like... this is torture. This is torture for me just because I don't have the controller that's the right one. But we can talk to people in this space and I like it. Right? Kids, like there's no... It's not necessarily like... I mean, visually it's broad and beautiful, and the color scheme here I think is probably my favorite in the game. Because it uses primary colors very effectively, the reds and the blues. But I like having characters. So Prince Daigo is another character, as I may have alluded to before. He's going to be the other one sort of out of our royal family here that is a fundamentally good person. You know, that whole notion of, you know, power not corrupting. And I like, you know, this is like, we don't even have the inherent suspicion that came with Yafutoma, because no, I am in Yafutoma, Ixutaka, because we haven't given them reasons to sit back and be like, oh, these people are shit people. It's like, we came in and things are pretty nice, you know. The yin wing we want. I just want decent equipment. 8, no, 2. And we want to just sell stuff. Sorry, Decat, we're selling your armor. Your famous armor worn by the most famous pirate of all time. It belongs in a museum. Nope. It belongs in this guy's inventory. I'll deal with that for now. And I think I can sell the other things in the normal merchant shop, which should be here? Yes. But yeah, like, the color scheme here is great because the blue waters are so wonderful. It's all good stuff. Buy and sell items. Sell. Yeah. Sell the golden mask. That's from Rixus. Sell the chalice of blood. That's from the Dark Rift. Sell the soul crystal. That was from Decat's. Rune of Ill Omen is from Pyron. Like, it's just like, I should have sold all this shit a while ago. An Aura of Valor is for Spirit. So, Sacrum crystals I want more than anything else. Sacrulen crystals are nice, because you don't have to pay money to heal to full, so it's like, I'll have some of those, but I don't want too many. And we have enough Ryzlum crystals right now that I'm pretty comfortable. So I'm sitting pretty nice here. So I don't know if I have as much to say about the space as I did with Horteka, but I think we do need to acknowledge that, like, really visually, this is a really great space. And it's using height in a different way, right? So this area is layered 3 times. So it's the palace, this area, and then where the ships are down below. So it's using height a little different. Let's read the sign, or accidentally flip the switch. Not quite what I meant to do. Don't know why that switch is there, actually. Alright. And talk to this fellow. Oh, that's right. So, it does have an interesting way of engaging with the space, which is the little tub ships, they call them, where you can, like, I can go around the space like this. And it looks as smooth as it actually is. It's pretty smooth. So this is sort of the navigational, you know, it's tempting to say gimmick, but this is the sort of navigational difference for Yafutoma as a space, is sort of this different area. And here we can meet Urala, who's super nice. And so we can recruit her into our crew in a bit. I'm wondering if we can get anything here. I like this though, this guy's sort of poking fun at the fact it's like, oh, we have all these food, and she needs to get these things for us, but he's like, you guys won't know the difference. You're not from around here. You know, it's nice to come to a space where there's not as, like, we haven't had this sort of hospitality really, I think, since probably Maramba, right? I don't know why they put that door there. That's such a weird interaction. So let's go down here, because they want us to go to Mount Kazai. There's a cham. I want the cham. I want it. I'm gonna do a quick edit so that I will have the cham. Alright, so I'm here now. I did indeed find the cham. It was up near the waterfall, and I also, that up in movie door lever thing, I forgot that there's a moonberry behind there, so we want to give a lot of stuff to Fina right now. And then we're going to meet another member of our crew. It is going to be Urala's sister, and she will help us out. So Fina should have enough for Lunar Light, an amazing skill that will come in handy. And we will have a cham to feed Cupel. And let's see if he's changed form. Nope, still Cupel Spike. Interesting. So I want to get off the little boat. Yes, I did take the boat off the waterfall. Sorry, I didn't show you. But here we go. I should be able to recruit her. Yeah, this would, So, now we have Kirala as our builder, who you might easily understand. I hear... What? A little ducky? Little duck birds? What is... I hear them everywhere. I'm going insane. Where's the... Oh god. Oh god. Ducky birds. Why? So, got a little sidetracked. We need to go talk to Urala. I didn't realize... Like, I sort of realized that you needed to talk to Kirala first, but... I sort of don't remember... Like, I remember the space in a vague sense. So there's me going over waterfall, so you did get to see it. But yeah, I remember the space more in vague terms than I do anything else. Still, this is definitely one of the most gorgeous places in the game. Really fun to move around. Look at that. Whoa! My camera keeps on getting triggered for some reason. My controllers keep on deciding to do random things. So this is our other cook, and we want her in on our crew badly. So we want to ask if she wants to join our crew as a cook. And it's awesome. I like that we can... It's different than in Ixutaka, too. In Ixutaka, we sort of had to prove ourselves through other tasks to get the characters. So for Tika Tika, we needed to find Ixunek village. And in the other case, we needed to find the bottle, but that still makes sense in that space. But we want Urala changed because using the crew command, she will max out all of your spirit points. So for the small price of whatever the fuck it cost me to, like, use her for a turn, I get to have max spirit points. And there will be ship battles coming up in this section where having a glut of spirit points to just play around with will be so useful. But now that we are done with all of that, let us make our way towards Mount Kazai. We will end just as we reach the mountain. So let us go. Where is... Oh, they want us to use a... Can I help you? Okay, so what's going on? We may as well use Yafutoman ships. Got that vise. I want to be able to go to Mount Kazai. You know what? We made it far enough. The game's being weird. Let's call it a day. That's not bad. So, we got to fight some pirates. Got to meet some new folks. Recruited some of the best characters into our crew. And all kinds of stuff. So this is our first taste of Skies of Arcadia's East. So we'll go to the dungeon in the next segment. I will see you there. Thank you very much for watching. I love you very much. Bye.